It's time for Wrestling for the Culture, where we take a look inside to see what the wrestlers of color have been doing this week. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this episode of Wrestling for the Culture. I'm your host, Brian H. Waters. Thank you for joining me each and every week right here on the Wrestling Realm. You know where to find us. Go to Apple Podcasts. Go to YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, we are there. And of course, go to Anchor and visit us. And you know, if you're feeling ever so generous, feel free to drop a couple dollars in there to support. But before I get into that, definitely want to send out a special get well tribute to the one, the only Miss Willow Nightingale. So unfortunately, she broke her neck. She does have a GoFundMe out there floating around, as well as some merchandise from her good tag team partner, Solo Darling. So, you know, I'm always mentioning Willow. She's been doing great things. Obviously, she had a hell of a 2017, 18, and 19. Unfortunately, accidents do happen in the ring. This is why I refuse to call this sport fake, folks. So, as you out there, make sure you are following her on social media, and make sure, if you can, send a special donation, and definitely send up a prayer for her, as we are right here at the Wrestling Realm. So now let's get into this week's show. So we're going to start off with the big dog is back, folks. Roman Reigns returned this past Monday on Monday Night Raw, and he said he's in remission. If you checked out this week's episode of Break It Down with Brian H., you know, that was the lead subject of the show. We definitely had to talk about him here, though. He got his hands dirty as he and Seth Rollins went out there to the defense of Dean Ambrose, but they didn't leave they left us with a lot of questions. Will the Shield be back? I saw rumors out there that said Dean Ambrose isn't leaving yet, and it could be partially because of Roman Reigns. More on that as weeks develop. Let's move on. The New Day, they made a trip to India, so they continue to be global ambassadors for the WWE, one of the best stables we've seen. I know we had this conversation about individual versus team. This team right here is truly a Hall of Fame bound team, in my opinion. I definitely believe you will see them, and you know, this is the New Day. They are somebody that you can put in any situation. They could be heels or faces. Nonetheless, they are a group that people tend to like. Now, let's move on, because something happened this past week with Kofi Kingston. He was removed from the WWE Championship picture that will take place this coming week at Fastlane. Vince McMahon, no great explanation other than saying Kofi wasn't worthy of a WWE Championship. Vince McMahon, what's up with that? Kofi isn't worthy of a WWE Championship. But nonetheless, he took it with great sport. Unfortunately, they replaced him with Kevin Owens, but this past week, him and Owens defeated the new Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan. And afterwards, Owens said that, Kofi, after this, you will get an opportunity. So, Ricochet and Aleister Black continue to dominate as the two were victorious on Raw and SmackDown. On Raw, they defeated the tag team champions, the Revival, and then on SmackDown, they defeated the team of Rusev and Shinsuke. Makes you wonder, will they be a tag team? What's going on? I wouldn't mind seeing it, to be honest with you. It gives a new, while we saw what they could do individually, being a North American champion and a NXT champion respectively, it would still be a cool interest. They would make a cool, interesting tag team. One that I don't think would stay together forever, but for now, it would be cool. Let's move on. R-Truth was victorious this week as he was defending his United States Championship. He defended it against both Rey Mysterio and Andrade. So R-Truth came out there, said he was going to have an open challenge. And when he had two responses, Carmella said, well, what would John do? And Carmella said he would beat both of them. And that's what R-Truth did. So he was successful. Congratulations to Oliver Carter from He's going to be joining NXT UK, officially signed. So we got another man of color joining the NXT roster. And then Sasha and Bayley made their appearance on NXT this weekend. We all know that's where they started. Sasha and Bayley both are former NXT women's champions. Arguably the greatest NXT match ever that they had at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. So the two took on each other. They declared that they will be defending the titles not only on the SmackDown brand, but on the Raw brand. Not only on the Raw brand, not only on the SmackDown brand, but NXT as well. So now it's time to get to the independent pro wrestling scene, folks. As I say each and every week, make sure you are sending in your results. I do my best to get all over the internet to see what I can find. But this show is for you, especially the wrestlers and the fans. So I know there's a lot of talk that the wrestlers of color don't get their just due, but they're out here doing a lot of great things. And for the wrestlers, I want to make sure you get your shine. So let's get started as we get started with the Miss Savannah Evans, the lovely Savannah Evans, doing her thing, becoming the new APW Chester Carolinas champion, as the Cannibal Queen continues to do big things down there in the Carolinas. So congratulations to her. She defeated Billy Brash in the Open Challenge. And then we saw the Zula King defending his, make sure I got this right, defending his APW championship, and in a way that Zula King would call by any means necessary. So congratulations to him. As you can see, he has 2 titles. That's because from what I saw this past weekend, he had 2 successful championship matches. So congratulations to him. Let's move on to Believe 180 as Kaci Lennox defeated Lexi Gomez. And then we saw the SCW Florida Heavyweight Champion Dion James defeat Mike Reed. And then JD Amazing defeated Cisco Suzio, make sure I get that right, and Mr. Grimm in what looks like it was a hellacious match. And then they crowned the first ever I Believe champ, from my understanding, and his name is Kwame Nas. So congratulations to Kwame Nas becoming the I Believe champion. So moving on, we got CWF as Mid-Atlantic CWF Wrestling. In a special challenge match, we saw Eric Royal defeat Mike Mars. And then we saw the CWF World TV Championship match as Aaron Biggs retained against Ethan Alexander Sharp. So congratulations to him. Now we're going to move on to No Ring, No Rules, GCW versus Suburban Fight Pro Wrestling. On this night, we saw Crime Time, Brooklyn, JTG and Shad Gaspard, for those who do not remember, defeat Jimmy Lloyd and Tony Deppen. And then Rich Swann would defeat Orange Cassidy. So congratulations to them. Now, it's time to move on to the Black Wrestling Alliance, folks. Make sure you are following them on Instagram at BWA. That's on Twitter. But just search Black Wrestling Alliance. My guy over there doing his thing, Dazzle. Shout out to him each and every week, checking out the Wrestling Realms, break it down. Brian H. Not only does he highlight the wrestlers of color, but he also highlights the black podcasters. So let's get started because we have a lot of information this week. So I'm going to start off with Chris Bay. Continue to add more championships. Already has a strong resume. And he and Sway Thompson, collectively known as Double Platinum, win the United Tag Team Championship. Never Say Die. The British team of Alex Cupid and Dillo D'Angelo become the title championship wrestling tag team champions. They ended this group called the Lion Kings 400 plus day run as champs. And then we move on as the Canadian team known as the Reckoning, Young Miles and Justice Sane. They're the new Northland Wrestling Tag Champions. Moving on, Alexander Roth has become the new CPW Middleweight Champion. PB Smooth is the new Absolute Intense Wrestling Champion. Cam Jackson is for the first time, he has won a championship over the weekend. Congratulations to him. Calvin Tankman is the new Wave Pro Crossroads champion. And then rounding it off, James Miranda is the new AIWF Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Champion. So, folks, make sure you are tuned in each and every week right here at the Wrestling Realm for Wrestling for the Culture, as we highlight the wrestlers of color each and every week. So, until the next time, folks, I'm Brian H. Waters. So long, everybody. Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Wrestling for the Culture. If you like what you see, go ahead and hit subscribe down below, and make sure you check out other content brought to you by myself and the real Dwayne Allen.